Hello, I'm John Knight, Chief Executive of LOROS Hospice. LOROS is a local charity covering Leicester, Leicestershire and Rutland. Every year we provide free high-quality care to 2,500 patients, their families and carers from across the city and the county.
LOROS is an adult hospice and delivers services for patients over the age of 18 with a terminal illness, and that can be cancer or can be organ failure or neurological conditions such as motor neurone disease. Quite a number of the services that we provide at the hospice are also available for patients' families, such as complementary therapy and counselling. A lot of people think hospices are dark, gloomy, unfriendly places really, places where people just go to die. Clearly we do offer end-of-life care for patients here, but LOROS is much more than that, and we offer a lot of support for not only the patient but also for their families as well, which makes it the special place that it is. I think having LOROS in the local community, where people know there's somewhere that they can go that's going to provide care for patients and families at a very difficult and challenging time in their life is really important to the people of Leicester, Leicestershire and Rutland. And we're very lucky that we have that support, because clearly that helps us to carry on delivering the special care that we do at the hospice.
So the outpatient service is for people who've got some form of terminal illness and who have got kind of concerns about how they're getting on at the moment. It might be symptoms like pain or sickness. It might be about how they're coping with being unwell. It might be about how their family is, and concerns or worries about the future. So they come, we normally have about an hour to start with. So sometimes outpatients will be the first contact patients have with the hospice. And we may talk about if things change, if they need to be admitted somewhere, whether going to hospital is the right thing, or actually whether coming to the ward here might be helpful. Sometimes outpatients will then lead them into day therapy, where they might come for weekly or fortnightly support and assessment. And I guess we also link in with the clinical nurse specialist team, who are supporting people mostly at home, but we offer kind of extra advice and support for those people too.
We get patients referred for all sorts of reasons: symptom control, with symptoms such as pain, nausea and vomiting, shortness of breath. We get patients referred for end-of-life care. On the ward, the patients will receive care and support from various members of the multidisciplinary team, the medical team, the nursing team, occupational and physiotherapists. We've got a discharge team. From the patients admitted, over half will be discharged home into the community. The multidisciplinary team also looks after the families when they're here. They get support from the complementary therapists, counselling service. They work closely with the nursing team and the medical team responsible for their care. When patients come for the end of life, they do get full support from all the services available to them at LOROS.
Day therapy provides patients with symptom management, support. We do psychological and emotional support for patients. We offer respite for the carers and relatives for when they come in to us. They come to us because obviously they've got symptoms that need help with managing. So we can do them as with the nursing staff. They can be seen by one of the specialist doctors. They're also supported by the team of physiotherapists and occupational therapists that we have. We have chaplaincy cover, so if anybody needs to be seen by a member of the chaplaincy team, they can be. And the other side of it is the creative side, so they can come and do things like paintings and drawings, jewellery making, flower arranging. We have speakers that come in. So it's not just about looking after their physical side of it, but also to get them out from home. People are socially isolated, and give them a bit of something nice for themselves as well.
Lymphedema is a chronic swelling that can affect any part of the body. It can be caused by cancer and its treatments, or from other causes unrelated to cancer. So lymphedema can affect people's mobility and daily activities, can cause pain and discomfort, and people with lymphedema are more at risk of infection. In the clinic, we will assess a patient's lymphedema and work with them to create a management plan and to enable them with our support to manage the condition themselves.
The enablement team comprise of social workers, occupational therapists, physiotherapists and specialist discharge nurses. So the enablement team make a huge difference to patients and their families. An example of which is someone who comes into the hospice for symptom control but actually is very motivated to return home. But this involves many factors to make that discharge safe. The occupational therapist and the physiotherapist will do their kind of more physical based assessments whilst in the hospice and look at any equipment that might be required to enable that person to move home safely. The social workers will look at all the kind of social care aspects and see whether or not things need to be put in place and the family needs to be signposted to receive ongoing support in the community. And our specialist discharge sisters will look at whether or not the person needs any package of care that will support the family to care for the patient once back at home.
We see patients and relatives of patients for individual counselling sessions which are confidential, non-judgmental, and we have a range of different counsellors with different skills, and we tend to adapt the way we work to meet the needs of the person we're seeing. They might be referred, so if it's the patient, they might be referred after diagnosis. Same with the family members really, but as well as seeing people whilst the patient is ill, we will see people for bereavement after the patient has died as well. We provide counselling to patients on the ward. Some of the times it's outpatients, so there may be people living out in the community. They might be coming in here to attend day therapy. And again, same with relatives or carers. They may be visiting their relative on the ward, but they may also be out in the community as well. We do provide group support as well, so that's to families and carers. So that's where they can come together in a group, sometimes smaller groups, sometimes larger groups, and sometimes the sharing of those experiences together is really supportive for people. It helps them to see things from a different perspective. It's a space to talk confidentially, perhaps share things that they don't feel able to share with those close to them. It's somewhere that they can really explore the feelings and thoughts that they're struggling with and find ways of coping more effectively with them.
The Community Nurse Specialist team are a group of qualified nurses who visit patients in their own homes, so have face-to-face contact in the community. It's very much a support role, and mostly that's supporting with symptom management, symptom control. Most of us are prescribers, so we can prescribe medications to help any symptoms related to their disease, and we also support with social and psychological support as well. I think people are more relaxed in their own home. I think it's obviously easier for them if they're very poorly not to have to go out to another organisation to see somebody, and we also support the district nurses and the GPs in the community. It's taking our care out into the community, because people don't always realise that there are other services out there other than just the services that are based here at the hospice.
Our role is really to look after the spiritual needs of all the patients, their relatives, and also the volunteers and staff here at LOROS. Each day can be very different, but it's very much about being a presence on the ward and in the hospice for the needs of the patients and their relatives, as I say, and looking after what's important to them and trying to support them in whatever way we can. We're happy to, if prayer is important to people, we can have bedside prayers and Holy Communion at the bedside. And we also have our chapel and prayer room, which is open all the time, so anyone, and that's people with all different faiths and of no faith, are very welcome to use that. And people often go there and sit there and say there's just something about this space. I think it's a safe, quiet space where people can reflect and pray if they want to. Leicester being a very multicultural area, we have volunteer chaplains from the major faiths, and if someone wants someone from their particular faith community, we can liaise with them, and they're very welcome to have ministers or whoever to come in from their own particular faith.
My role is actually to work with the South Asian community mainly that are settled in Leicester, and I do actually go out and do home visits with the nurse specialist team to help with language facilitation in Gujarati, so English and Gujarati, that's the other language I speak. But in addition to that, I do actually give a lot of emotional support, and if there's any practical support that patients and families may need, I can advocate on their behalf or signpost them to culturally appropriate services. I and the organisation strive actually to sort of, as I mentioned before, to meet people's specific needs. So if there is somebody who wants a religious, like for instance we had a Hindu family who wanted a religious prayers in the prayer room, you know, and it was end of life and they wanted it doing while they were at the hospice. We try and accommodate those sort of little things which make a great difference to their sort of end of life experience.
We train and recruit high calibre volunteers to go into patients' homes to give the husband, wife, carer a break for up to 4 hours a week. It means the carer can have time out, go for a sleep, go out to appointments, just go shopping, and knowing that the loved one is left safe. Depending on the day, if the patient's poorly, they just want to perhaps sit quietly and the visitor will just keep quiet and keep the company. Sometimes the visitors will take the patients out or any other hobbies and interests. It depends on how well they're feeling on the day. For the patient, it means that somebody's there with them if they're on their own. It's company, keeps them stimulated, company for them, and like I say, they'll take them out if they need to. Carers will also come to LOROS for counselling appointments or comp therapy appointments because they don't want to leave their loved ones on their own either, and it just gives them a chance to do that. One of our patients' wives used to go line dancing. She was an 82-year-old lady and that's what she wanted to do.
We offer complementary therapy to our patients on the ward and their main carers, and also we offer them to have them as an outpatient as well. We offer a wide range of complementary therapy, aromatherapy, reflexology, Indian head massage, the Bowen technique and hypnotherapy, and it's all just to reduce that person's stress and concentrate and enhance their well-being. Complementary therapy isn't alternative, it's completely complementary, so it works with orthodox medicine, it won't interfere with their treatment. What we're trying to do is we're looking at their stress levels, so we're trying to help them with their sleep, if they've got insomnia, if they suffer with anxiety. So we're just trying to reduce those levels through the use of complementary therapy. Often we see the patient and the carer together, and more likely than not, the carer is the one that's really stressed out and going through this journey. So that's where complementary therapy is ideal. It looks at how to reduce their stress, looks at their well-being, so they're in a better state to care for their relative. So we've got a designated complementary therapy room, but then we can bring that service onto the ward as well. So the patients can have that relaxed atmosphere. But we do try and encourage the relatives, the carers, to come down to the room just to have their own time and space, really.
In addition to the care we provide, we also have an award-winning education team. The education team work with over 2,200 professionals from across the education and social care sector every year. This ensures the impact of LOROS goes even further than the care provided just within the hospice. Research is also a key part of our work. Research into the care that we provide helps us to improve the quality of care provided within the hospice and further afield. We're incredibly proud to say that 91 pence in every pound donated goes directly towards the care we provide here at LOROS. We simply couldn't do all that we do without the support of the incredible community, friends and families around LOROS Hospice. If you'd like more information about LOROS and how you could get involved with us, please visit our website. Thank you.